Cahill, Director of Community and Partnerships at humm. You're watching the humm White Paper Explored. humm's technology is built upon decades of lab research and is safe and effective to use. But how did the team confirm that humm patches would typically improve working memory in healthy adults? Joining me today is Dr. Tim Fiore, humm's scientific advisor, to talk to us about the trial that was published in the white paper. Dr. Fiore, welcome.
Great to talk to you.
Can you tell us about the research humm did on the patch?
Sure. So this trial that we performed and published in our white paper was really, I guess, a confirmation of a lot of the existing research out there that we wanted to perform with our own device. Once we developed prototypes of the humm patch, we ran them through this testing with the intention of showing a reliable improvement in working memory performance in healthy adults using our device. This study was with a fairly simple working memory test. If you imagine a simple computer game that tests memory, a bit like a memory card game, but in this case, using a sequence of blocks on the screen that participants would have to remember the order that they appear in and then recount that order backwards. That sequence would get longer and longer up until the person's sort of breaking point with their working memory. And they'd have to recount that sequence backwards so they're not able to remember the full sequence. So it's a very simple game, testing the capacity of your working memory, a very frustrating game as well.
I can imagine. And what are the results that you saw from this trial?
So what we found was with our study, we had two groups. One was a placebo group and one was a stimulation group that received the real stimulation with the device. The participants in the stimulation group had on average, about a 19% improvement in their working memory capacity. So with that sequence of blocks they're remembering, our average there was about 20% more that they could remember forwards and backwards. With our placebo group, we saw a very, very small improvement in their working memory capacity, and that was to do with the learning effect. So with any test like this, where someone's doing a task, testing their memory, we do tend to see a small improvement as people get used to the game, but that was far outshadowed by the improvement we saw with the device.
So you're saying the placebo group did see a small impact, but it was just because they had learned how to play the game and so were slightly better at the game, where the stimulation group saw about a 20% improvement overall, much more significant than that placebo group.
That's right. Yeah, much more significant improvement in the working memory capacity. With
Wow.
that placebo group, they in fact wore a sort of you could call it a fake patch, one that felt like it was on. It provided a different stimulation, but one that hasn't been shown to have any improvement in working memory. So our participants wore a patch for the same period of time. They did the same tests. We also surveyed them before and after to assess what their expectations would be,
Mhm.
and then whether or not they thought they had the real stimulation. And all those results showed that our stimulation, our placebo, was very successful in blinding our participants, and there was no influence of people's expectation or whether they thought they had the patch on their results.
So their expectations did not influence the results, which showed you that you did a good job blinding the study.
Exactly.
Oh, very good. And who was involved in this trial?
So we ran this trial at UC Berkeley. We sourced our participants through online advertising and on campus as well. We had a wide breadth of ages, healthy adults between about 18 and 56 years. And that was well split between the two groups. It was skewed towards younger adults in 20s, being near a campus, of course. And it was also skewed towards males as well, with fewer female participants.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Dr. Fiore, for taking the time to talk with us today. To learn more, watch the rest of our series, the humm White Paper Explored, or read our full white paper at thinkhumm.com. Thanks for joining us.